So the first tip I've got, and you've probably not really heard this one before, I'm quite happy to post loads of stories about what I'm doing on Instagram, but sometimes my brain forgets to shoot the content for Reels or even make Reels of what it is that I'm doing. So what I've started doing is when I'm creating stories, before I've added text and all those sorts of things, I download the story to my phone, then I carry on making the story. And it means by the end of the day, I've got 7 or 8 different little bits of video that I considered good enough for my followers that are just saved on my phone. And the trouble is, if you go to your stories to download them, they've often got little bits of text and links on them and stuff, and you can't really use those for Reels. So for example, let's say I've gone on a photography trip, or I've gone out for a hike, or I'm a travel blogger and I've gone around a city. It means I've recorded that day, so then at a later date you can then edit those videos into a Reel and send that out to your followers. If you think about it, if they were good enough for stories, they're good enough for Reels. Now the next thing that you need to think about, and I've talked about this before, is the hook, okay? You don't need to overthink this, it doesn't need to be complicated. You just need to have a reason in mind that why the viewer is going to be watching your Reel. For example, if I take one of mine randomly, okay, one where I showed a new feature on Photoshop. The reason that somebody might watch that is because they're curious about what's happening on Photoshop, or they're curious on how that might relate to landscape photography, because what that means is it gives me a guide to the kind of hashtags that I can be using, and it also gives me a guide as to whether it's the right kind of thing for my audience. So always keep in mind who your Reel is for, what is the purpose of making it, and why would the person spend their time watching it. And once you've thought of all those things, make sure that it's clear in the first second that that is what it's about. So the next thing that you need to keep in mind is quantity over quality. Now I'm not saying make bad stuff on purpose. Don't let quality become a barrier to you creating lots and lots of content, because it really doesn't matter. If I take my own stuff, the things that I just quickly made, like the example I gave in the previous tip, and it wasn't really that high quality, but it connected with people because really it doesn't matter. There's a real benefit to making more content. So if quality is a barrier for you, just think more about the quality of the idea, not so much the quality of the filmmaking. Now I will still make sort of high quality cinematic style Reels, but I'm just saying don't discount the kind of easy, quick, casual stuff, because often that connects with your followers way more. So the next one is one for the photographers, for the artists. One thing that'd be quite an interesting thing to do is you could use the green screen feature to put one of your images behind you while you talk about it on camera. So to do this, just tap the little image button in the bottom left, then you want to hit the green screen one at the top, which is third from left at the time of making this video. Then you just select your image and it will appear behind you. But the key thing is that you can actually pinch and zoom your own face to make it smaller so you can actually show off the image behind you. This is something I plan on doing. I think it's a really interesting way of using the green screen feature, and I've not really seen anyone do it, so give that a go. Now we talked before about how there was a benefit of making more and more content. The truth is, with vertical video, with Reels, with TikTok, with Shorts, it is a bit of a lottery in my opinion. There are things that are definitely going to do well. There are things that are definitely so entertaining and so good that they're going to do well. But sometimes something just goes viral. So if we do think of it like that, like a lottery, what's the best way of giving yourself more chance of winning a lottery is to buy more tickets. And in that analogy, I'm saying make more content. So if you can find a way to fire out more and more content, do that. And if you can change your mentality from spending a long time, putting a lot of love into a piece of vertical video, putting it online and then feeling a little bit bad when it doesn't reach 1 million views, try and get out of that mentality and just move on to the next one. So just remember that, yeah, you can make great content that's going to do really well, or you could just buy more lottery tickets and just put out more and more content and see what works. I suppose an example of this, it didn't get like 1 million views or anything, but I just put my camera into the cup holder in my van. It got about 10,000 views, which isn't huge, but my point is I just put my camera in my cup holder and then filmed it with my phone. It took me about 3 seconds to film. So that's my point. This next one is quite a new change. Instagram have made it so that Reels show on Facebook, and you can choose to show your Reel on Facebook, or you can choose not to show your Reel on Facebook. That's obviously a personal choice, but if you want to reach more people, obviously make it so that your Reel shows on Facebook. At this point in the video, you're probably thinking, hey, this is pretty useful stuff. I'm gonna hit the like button. You might also be thinking about hitting that subscribe button. Just bear in mind that I also do stuff about photography. We go out on trips, we go up mountains, that sort of stuff. So that's for you. Definitely carry on and hit the subscribe button. The next restriction I kind of feel with Reels a lot is that I'm kind of glued to my phone. I have to press that button in order to record. So the trick is to go hands-free. If you need to film an unboxing, or if you feel compelled to dance, photographers got to eat, right? You can get something like this. There's a little phone clip that you put out like this and your phone clips into it. Just one's actually got a pretty cool telescopic thing that it can do as well. So you get something like that, I'll link that in the description, and then you use the little hands-free icon, the timer on the interface, and what that'll do is it'll allow you to count down 3 seconds before your content starts. Then you can do whatever you want to do, like unbox, do your dance, whatever it is that you want to do. And if you didn't quite get the timing right, you can just edit that afterwards, just like you normally would. It just kind of disconnects you from your phone a bit and allows it to be a bit easier for you to make content on your own. So pretty handy thing to have around. Now, I think most people could probably benefit from this next one, and that is just using auto captions or doing your captions yourself. If you're doing any speaking into the camera and not putting that text on the screen, you're losing out. You're kind of leaving money on the table. Now, I have a whole video on how to do auto captions. It's quite simple. It's just a sticker that you add to your Reels. Some people have it and some people don't. It's a new thing that they're rolling out. But if you don't have it, you can just type it out and put it on the screen and edit that text like you normally would. If you don't know how to do that, you add the text just like you would in the story. So you grab it from the top right and then you type what it is. Then once you've got it as you want it, you then just tap on it at the bottom left and you can set the duration. Once you've added all the different text, you can kind of set the duration in one go. It does snap a little bit, it's a little bit fiddly, but it's worth doing if you're speaking into your camera. Now, in the beginning of the video, I talked about how it's a good thing to do to sort of save your stories before you've added stickers. So what you can actually do with these, you can let Instagram automatically edit it. So you create a new reel, you go down to the images in the bottom left, and then you can hit the select multiple icon. Once you've done that, you just select a bunch of videos, make sure they're not too long, but select a bunch of videos, and the next screen will actually give you a kind of suggested edit. And then you can kind of vary the edit by syncing it to, suggested music. The good thing with using the suggested music is that that's another way for people to discover your reel. So even if you don't like the music, I don't think anybody really cares. So just use the suggested ones, and because it cuts it to the beat, that will actually vary your edit. So if you don't like the first one, try the next one, try the next one. At some point, one of these will probably give you an edit that's pretty decent. It's not always going to create an amazing edit that you would probably do on your own, but it's going to be fast and enable you to put out more content if you have the videos on your phone. And my next point is to be original. It's good to follow trends, and a lot of people say follow the trends, because people are already into it, and that's a good thing to do, but be original. I don't think anyone would have said to someone a few years ago, hey, a really good idea would be to, get into train spotting and then strap a 360 camera to your head. But that did work out pretty well for Francis. So if you are doing those trends, make sure you're working what you do into it and not just completely neglecting the best thing about you, which is you. Now, if you haven't hit that like button yet, make sure that you do. And if you enjoyed the video and want to see more, hit the subscribe button. And if you do, I will see you in the next one.